All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to another edition of our Futuristic Academy interviews and case studies where we show you how to do what you love and get paid. And today we've got a very special guest, a good friend of mine, and someone that's been building a very successful business following her expertise and her passion. And we're very excited to have Amy Jo Berman here with us today. Amy, how you doing tonight?
Awesome, awesome. I'm really psyched. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've done a few of these interviews, and every one of them, we get some incredible insights, incredible lessons. You know, there's so much that goes into building a business, especially following your own passion and following your own expertise. You know, doing something where you're sharing your value with the marketplace. And so I'm really excited to get to interview you because I've gotten to learn a little bit more about your business. You know, we've known each other for several years, and watching you grow and develop your business into what it is today is absolutely phenomenal because you've really applied all of the lessons that we teach in the academy. And you know, you've built a thriving business. You're helping lots of people in your specific niche. And you know, you've created an incredible business in a very specific niche using your specific talents and expertise, which is what this is all about. So let's get started here, and let's start out first, Amy. Why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are, what your background is, and how you got involved in starting your own business?
Well, I'm a casting director by trade. So I've been in the entertainment industry in one form or another, but as a casting director for nearly 20 years. And when I first started creating my business, which I didn't know I had started creating at the time I started to learn marketing, you know, I just started to get marketing ideas about 7 years ago is when I went online for the first time seeking out something else. And basically what my business is now is I create information products and classes and all kinds of groovy stuff to help actors. So I've taken my expertise as a casting director, where I primarily would work with actors, directors, and producers or whatever to help get movies made and cast the roles. And my favorite part of it was always working in the room with actors. Those few minutes that I would have with each actor where I would get to work with them one-on-one and get them to be better by the time I was done with them, that was the space that always lit me up. And so I've captured that piece of that career and taken it and created a business out of it.
I love that because that's, you know, we had a hangout, a training with our members just recently, and one of the things that we were trying to get them to focus on is to, you know, look at their past experiences, you know, look at their past, you know, the past professions that they've done, and or just the things that they love to do on their own, and to identify something that they've really enjoyed or something that was a unique strength, and that's exactly what you did, because I mean, you had a career of 14, 15 years in casting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And did you ever imagine yourself doing what you're doing today?
Absolutely not. Not at all. I thought I was just gonna, you know, live and die as a casting director, honestly.
So what inspired you? I mean, what was the move? Why leave a successful industry and career in casting to go off on your own? What was the inspiration and motivation behind that choice, first of all?
You know, there was a point at which I loved, like I said, there were certain parts of it that I really loved, and then certain parts that were just, you know, corporate. And although it paid me really well, there was something that started to feel like there was something missing. I knew I was supposed to do something more. I didn't really know what it was, and frankly, my big obstacle was I thought there was nothing else I could do. This is all I know how to do. And so I came to that crossroads where I'm like, I knew I wasn't fulfilled. I felt frustrated. I didn't know why, and I didn't know what else I could do. So I started, you know, sort of wandering around looking, and a friend of mine introduced me to, you know, a home business, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Let me see what that's all about. I mean, I didn't think of, I had no idea it was going to lead me to actually to you and to some of my other mentors and to learning all this other stuff. I just was like, oh, okay, I'm open. I think what it was a switch got flipped, and suddenly I was open in a way that I hadn't been before because I was just dissatisfied. But I knew that there was something more I was supposed to do. That I did know, but I didn't know what that meant. Yeah. I remember, actually, a big aha moment that I had. I was asked to give the commencement address at my alma mater, which was like the hugest honor, one of the best moments in my life. And I'm standing up there speaking to thousands of graduates with my face on a jumbotron, and it was so amazing. And it was like, and I'm shaking all the hands of those graduates. And after that experience, I remember this. I remember practicing my speech with my husband in the hotel room beforehand, and I looked at him afterwards, and I said, "Do you remember that moment, you know, when I was working on that speech? And after this whole weekend, I'm telling you, I'm supposed to do something with all this, and I don't know what it is. But when I look back on my speech, it was all about inspiring actors and helping them shape their lives and follow their passion. That's what my, that's what my focus was on the speech, was helping not just actors, actually graduating seniors, teaching them to ignore logic and follow their passion in order to find what it is they wanted to do. And there was something that lit up in me that weekend, and I just knew that I was supposed to do something else. And I said to my husband, I'm just going to tuck that away. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. I'm just going to tuck it back there. It'll reveal itself in time. And I guess it did.
That's amazing. So you had this calling, this pull. You know that you wanted to do something different. What was that process? Because then, you know, you were open, you were exploring different options, you know, different business ideas, different concepts, you know, perhaps, you know, looking at different paths. What was that moment where you decided and you realized that you could actually take the expertise and the knowledge that you had created in your experience in your career as a casting director, and actually make a business out of that online? What was that moment like?
Well, after studying online marketing for several years and dabbling in this or that, you know, I had a good understanding of what it takes to create a business, because I had watched a lot of people like yourself and, you know, really learned and made myself a student of marketing and developed a kind of passion for it. It was fun for me to be able to share with stuff with people and help them. And I remember one day I was sitting in the audition room, and I was watching an actor and working with them, and I realized, I had like one of those aha moments, and I realized that the problem that they were having in the room had nothing to do with their acting technique. It had to do with their mindset, and I could see they were doing a number on themselves, not feeling good enough, or whatever their issue was, and it was getting in the way of their audition. And it occurred to me through my years of studying entrepreneurship online and all this kind of stuff that my own journey from employee to entrepreneur, I encountered certain obstacles in my own mindset that I had to clear in order to be willing to be successful, to be willing to receive, to be willing to change. You know, I really worked on my mindset really hard. And when I saw what they were going through in the room, I had this big aha, like, oh, if I could share the journey that an entrepreneur has to go through and all the mindset shifts that they have to create in order to free themselves, it's like the same exact thing that actors go through. It's just different language and different particular details. But when you actually take a step back and remove the cover, the concepts are all exactly the same. And I thought, oh, if I could share with this actor what I know from this other area, I bet I could help them. And so I went home that night and made my first YouTube video with a tip.
Beautiful. Okay, this is really awesome, and I want you guys to pay attention watching this video and take some notes and listen to what Amy's saying here. So she basically took, you know, what she was learning outside of her career, outside of her profession, in, you know, what we can call personal development or success training, mindset training, and, you know, she decided to bring those concepts into a particular niche, which is her expertise. So, you know, instead of just being another personal training guru like Tony Robbins and the thousands of others that are out there, you decided I could specifically help actors because I'm seeing that they're going through the same problems, that they're sabotaging their own success right there in front of me, right there in the casting room, and I know that I can help them. So now you've got a specific target market that you've narrowed in on. You know what their problem is, you know what their challenge is, and now you've got a solution. You're providing a solution. So I mean, this is exactly what we teach people in the first stages. You know, what we were just teaching right now was first self-assessment, is figuring out what your strengths are, what your expertise is, what your talents are, what your knowledge is, and then figuring out how are you going to serve and who are you going to serve. And I guess for you, it was pretty clear who you were going to serve, and it comes in these aha moments. So I love the way you've been able to tie all of this together. Now let's talk about the next aspect, which is basically how you started, and you just you got into that there with the YouTube video. So what was the first move to start your business? Just go into that a little bit more detail.
Well, it's funny. I don't think I actually started my business. My business kind of started, and I followed it. I know that sounds weird, but I didn't realize I had a business at first. At first, all I was doing was giving value. Like, I just was making tip after tip for actors, and I thought to myself, I don't know what's going to come of this, but I know that I could help these people. And so, because I know what they go through, and I know what their problems are, and I know I can help them, so I just started making videos. And through the course of that, I remember I would sit there in auditions, and every time there would be, you know, an actor would leave the room, I'd turn to my assistant and I'd be like, oh my God, that's a video. And I'd write down a note, and I'd go home and make a video just to share, right, just to share. And when I started getting response, that's when I knew that there was a market, and that's when the marketer in me kicked in, because I started getting feedback. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I never, you know, because a lot of, most casting directors don't, you know, don't do videos about how to be better. They just don't. You know, they're busy casting, doing other things. But it was the feedback that made me realize, oh, they want more. They started asking me for more, like, you know, and I thought, oh, I should make a class.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the way you approach this, because, you know, so many marketers and aspiring entrepreneurs approach this in completely a different way. They come from the perspective of, I want to make money. And what I really love about this, and this is why I think you're so successful, and if you look at really any successful entrepreneur, they come from the idea, how can I serve my market? And that's really what you did. You know, your market test was about how can I serve my market, and just creating valuable content and basically getting a response from your market. I mean, that's an incredible way to do it. So let's talk about what your focus was, you know, initially for the first few weeks, first few months. What was your intention, and what were the activities that you were doing in your business? Basically to get yourself started. I know maybe you weren't thinking of it as a business, maybe you didn't even know how to monetize it just yet, but what was your intention initially with those videos?
Well, my intention, you know, being that I had a lot of online marketing training before then, I knew that I was supposed to build a list. I mean, that was a no-brainer. So even though I didn't really have a website yet or anything, I actually I threw up a sort of temporary Wix website, to be honest with you. It didn't even have an opt-in form, just to have one out there, like, oh, I guess I should have one. But that just sat there. But basically, I created a fan page on Facebook, and I would drive people to my fan page on Facebook, and I created an opt-in form that I would direct people to every now and again. And in some of my videos, my older videos has my Facebook link on there. It doesn't even have like a opt-in at a particular place. But anyway, I started building a list. I didn't do anything with the list. Occasionally I would send them an email about a video. Basically, that's all I would do, is just keep sending them value. But I was building the list, so that by the time I realized, okay, there's a certain time period in the in acting during the year where it's a high anxiety time period. It's called pilot season. And during pilot season, actors all just freak out. It's like a collective freak out. It's a high stress, high tension situation, and it lasts for a few months. And there's the lead up to it, the anticipation of the anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, this is the perfect time to launch a class about mindset of the actor, to help them really deal with what's about to happen. Awesome.
Okay, so let's just backtrack again, because we're going to go back to that to your first product, basically, is what we're talking about now. Let's just backtrack a little bit, just to give people an idea of what this process is like. Because what I love is you got this idea and you took action right away. You know, there's so many aspiring entrepreneurs that I see out there that have ideas, but they're not taking action. They're not taking any action. What you did right away is you created a video, and then you created another, and you started to get a little bit of feedback. Let's talk about what that timeline was like. How many videos did you create before you put up your fan page, before you started to get some feedback? How many videos did you create, and what was that timeline before, you know, putting stuff out there and then starting to see a response and building your fan base and starting to get opt-ins? What was that timeline like?
It was well, I don't know how many videos I did, but I put up my fan page pretty quickly because I knew that I had to drive them somewhere besides just YouTube, and I knew enough to know that I was good with social media already, so I knew that I could do that. So I put up my fan page right away, and I, you know, how soon? I think I was doing videos for like a year before I created a class, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a video a day, but a lot of videos. I have about a little over 100 videos right now, and it's been like 2.5, 3 years. So, I don't know what the pace was, but I put up a bunch of videos. What was the question?
So how were you getting views and visitors and driving traffic? What was your strategy to build this audience to get people to even watch your videos?
Well, I basically started creating a list from the. So I would put up a video, and then I would tell people on my fan page, even though I only had a small amount of fans, but they shared it. I encouraged them to share it, and they did. And so, that was really all I did. I started a Twitter too, somewhere near that time, and basically all I would do was drive people to my videos, and I didn't even really natively tweet, so I almost don't even want to count that. But I did start building an audience there too, and I just drove people to Facebook to the videos, and so I posted natively on Facebook to the video, and it just sort of I just started encouraging people to share. Honestly, that's the biggest thing that I did. I created a valuable piece of information. I would put a little blurb about it because I learned enough about marketing to understand how to identify what their problem is, to condense it down to like headline size so that it piqued interest and it would get them to watch it. And I also knew that I was serving an audience that wasn't served this way before. And so they were happy to receive me. And I was very positive, too. A lot of times in the acting industry, because I know the niche, there's a lot of people that tell you, this is hard, you can't do it, be realistic, sound familiar? And
Right.
I knew that that's not what they needed in order to pursue their dream. So I did it in a very positive way, just using social media.
So really, I mean, what I'm hearing is you were providing valuable content. I mean, that's really all it was. I mean, you knew what their problems were, you were providing solutions, you were providing valuable videos for free, and they were getting shared. It's not like you were paying for advertising.
Nope.
You
No
weren't doing
advertising. The
any
page
type of,
built itself.
right. You didn't do any technical SEO work.
On what? I didn't even have a website.
So you literally were just creating valuable content for a specific niche, addressing specific problems, providing solutions, and being an inspiration. That's your
Yes.
formula.
And all I did was I made the video and I put it on Facebook and I encouraged people to share. And on some of those videos, I would encourage people to opt in on my tab on my fan page. And so then I had a little email list. So I would email those people and say, hey, I made a video, and then they would share, and then some people would opt in. So it just just grew the list, and I just kept driving people in that circle.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, that right there is a powerful, powerful strategy to build a business. But what I want you guys watching to pay attention to is what Amy is saying is that it took her about a year to build that audience before she monetized it. Now, could she have monetized it sooner? Sure, absolutely. Absolutely, she could have taken some of the strategies that we're teaching in the academy about developing sales funnels. She could have paid for some marketing if she had a product to monetize sooner. So yeah, you can absolutely speed that up. But what I love about what Amy's done here is she's really built a business very organically, very affordably. I mean, how much did your business cost you to run in that first year as you were building that audience?
I mean, very little. The cost of Aweber to build the list and to, whatever other little tools to make the fan page opt-in. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So we're talking about 30, 40, 50.
We won't count the tens of thousands of dollars of marketing training that I learned in order to get me there, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then that's our goal with the academy is to give you an affordable place to get all that marketing training.
I wish you were there when I was starting.
That's the idea. So Amy, you've spent this time building an audience. Give me an idea before you launched that product. How large was your audience at the point that you launched that first program? And just give me a rough idea. I'm sure you don't remember the exact numbers.
I would say probably I had a list of maybe 2,000 people, and I would say my fan page maybe had a couple of thousand at the time, maybe.
Great. Okay. And you
Yeah,
and
no, so I
all
probably
that.
have more fans than I had list. I think my list was even smaller, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And you built that organically. Okay. Great. So let's talk about your first product.